Work from home, stay at home, working moms, productivity books are not written for you. I've spent the last 5 years of my life reading books and taking advice that ended up making me feel like I was failing. I got stuck in a cycle of watching these gurus and reading all of these stories and wondering why I couldn't get it right. My 2 and my 5-year-old kids were not the problem, but they were a factor in my life that is just never addressed in the content that I was consuming. So I began to ask myself, why do these productivity tips not work for moms? And if these don't work, are there tips that do? So after 5 years of in-house research and hundreds of conversations with other working mothers, I have found that building flexibility into my systems, getting creative with the work that I did, and redefining what success would look like for me as a mother were the keys to finding productivity that truly worked. First, let's talk about why traditional productivity advice often doesn't work for moms. These books are usually written for a completely different audience. Regardless of what the publishers want you to think, they are thinking more corporate environments, not a house with toddlers. And as moms, we face unpredictable schedules, the mental load of juggling multiple tasks and wearing a lot of hats, and of course, the never-ending interruptions from our little ones. Trying to apply these one-size-fits-all tips into our lives can just be more frustrating than helpful. Our days are rarely predictable. Nap times change, kids get sick, and household chores just cannot be scheduled into neat little time blocks. We are not just working from home, we're managing a household, we're caring for our children, and many of us also are doing paid work. This juggling act requires a different approach, one that values flexibility and recognizes that productivity isn't just about ticking off tasks on your to-do list, but more about how the people inside your home feel at the end of each day. So how do we build in flexibility? After a lot of trial and error, I've learned that creating a schedule that's adaptable from the needs of my family to the needs of my work environment just is going to vary for each mother. It might include working in shorter bursts, it might include being okay with shifting tasks to another day, or even rethinking your working hours to times when your kids are asleep or otherwise occupied. It's about finding a rhythm that's going to work for you and your family, and not trying to stick to rigid productivity rules. This often means forgoing traditional methods such as deep work, miracle mornings, and single tasking. I have found that splitting my to-do list into 3 different categories really helps me to get things done. Focused, multitasking, and easy categories. When my kids need my full attention, I can do easy tasks with them. This is stuff that I can include them in. Things like folding the laundry, vacuuming, or even meal prepping. Sometimes it's 10 a.m. and my kids need to get some energy out, so I'll prep all of the veggies for dinner that night. Multitasking to-dos are kind of those things that I can do from my phone or maybe my laptop while the kids are playing and somewhat entertained. This might be checking emails, posting to social media, outlining a piece of content, or adding appointments to the calendar. I can do these, but I can easily pause if my kids need me. Focus tasks are those tasks reserved for either before the kids wake up, during naps, when I have childcare or help of some sort, or after they go to bed. These are the things like client work, meetings, phone calls, and creative work. Work that when it's interrupted, it just takes a while to get back into the flow of things. I find that some days my focus time is only an hour, and other days I get 4 or 5. So I just get as much done as I can, and I try to batch tasks as often as I can to just get as much done. I take a half an hour every Sunday to just plan out my week in Sansama so that I'm never left asking what's next. Those transitions are the hardest things, so once you can figure out how to transition faster, that's going to be the easiest way to get work done at home. So let's talk about work. I work from home part-time with my kids. I can do this particularly because I do client work and virtual assistant jobs, and those just have built-in flexibility. My clients are all async, and they're all very well aware that I work from home with kids. Rarely are there days where I have tight deadlines or big projects due. Most of the work tasks fall into that easy category, or at least the multitasking categories, so I can still work regardless of how crazy our day gets. I also dedicate specific days to meetings or content creation so that I can plan childcare around those days. And if childcare isn't an option, then having at least a set of activities to keep the kids occupied while I work. This can include things like educational games, puzzles, crafts, and when it comes down to an emergency, yes, an iPad. Batching work together when I do have childcare or some kind of focus time is also really important. I prep all of my scripts together. Then I plan an hour or two where I can film everything back to back. That's why you see me wearing the same clothes in so many videos. I have to put all my meetings back to back to back so I can get them done in smaller bursts. Having a portable workstation is also helpful. In the dining room, I have a table where I can sit with my laptop. In the playroom, I have a chair and a shelf where I can set my laptop while the kids play. I have my main computer here in my office, but during my work day, I need to be able to be on the move, so I did purchase a laptop to be able to do that. Finally, and perhaps the most important tip I've learned, is to redefine what success is. It's not just about professional achievements, how much money I make, or how many tasks I get done. It's also about raising happy, healthy kids and maintaining a loving and supportive family environment. And yes, sometimes it means just making it through the day without a meltdown, from me or the kids. And as a mom, we need to celebrate these victories, big and small. If we expect others to see the value in what we do every day, we need to get better at celebrating it ourselves. We cannot measure our productivity against a single man with no other responsibilities outside of work. We have to stop comparing ourselves to the successful women we see on social media where they have entire teams backing them to help them write the book or launch the course. Defining what success looks like for you is the most important step to being more productive in your own routines and life. You get to decide what productive looks like. Being a productive mom isn't about following a strict set of rules. It's about building a flexible system, getting creative with how and when you work, and redefining that success for you. Remember, you're doing an amazing job, and your version of productivity is just as valid as an expert out there. We're out here getting stuff done with a baby on our hip. We just don't always have time to write books about it.